Hello, Mishpucha, it's Courtney, America's Jewish mother. Welcome back to my channel. It's Friday, so that means it's time for another Friday Reads video, and I finished one book this week. I'm currently reading 4 books, so let's go. So the book that I finished was The Devil and Webster by Hanff Korelitz. This is about a woman named Naomi Roth, who is the first Jewish and female president of an elite small liberal arts college called Webster College that's in New Hampshire. It's very progressive. It's kind of modeled after like an Oberlin or something like that, and it's supposed to be kind of like on par with Ivy League schools. And she's been the president of this institution for a number of years, and her daughter Hannah is currently a sophomore at this school when Naomi finds herself faced with a dilemma, which is basically that this group of students have started taking up residence and protesting on the campus's quad and sleeping out there in sleeping bags and tents and stuff like that because they are protesting the tenure denial of a very popular professor. And what Naomi knows that the students don't know and that she can't tell them because tenure decisions are protected by privacy laws is that one of the main reasons for this professor's tenure denial was that he only published one book and it was plagiarized. So part of it is about how she's going to deal with this group of students protesting, and being a former activist herself, she was very much an activist in her younger student days, so she sort of admires that they're taking the stand for what they believe in. So she attempts to engage them in dialogue, and they just pretty much completely ignore her. Every effort she makes is rebuffed, and eventually one student kind of emerges as the leader of this group that ends up calling itself Webster Dissent, and his name is Omar, and he is this mysterious, kind of enigmatic Palestinian student, and so anyway, so it's basically about how Naomi navigates this this group of protesters, this Webster Dissent group, and also the fact that her daughter is involved in this group too. I ended up giving this book 3.25 stars. I did find it entertaining, and I liked the examination of how oftentimes our passion for a cause can outweigh or override the facts or logic. I definitely think that people on both the left and right side of the political spectrum are guilty of letting, you know, your emotional feelings about something cloud your rationale or the facts. So I appreciated that aspect of it, but for like a lot of this book, Naomi's just like sitting around not really doing anything, and I'm just like, okay, well, is something gonna happen or not, you know? And then some stuff happens at the end that I'm kind of just like, okay, this book has just gone off the rails at this point. So I just feel like it's sort of, the whole thing is sort of like very conveniently, contrivedly ended, which I did find a little bit of a letdown, but I did find it mostly an entertaining reading experience, and I would recommend it if you like campus novels or books kind of about identity politics, because that's also an area that it definitely examines throughout the book. So would recommend it, but it definitely was slight letdown for me because it dragged in the middle, and because, like I said, I felt like the ending kind of went off the rails. So 3.25 stars. So that is the only book that I finished this week. So in terms of what I am currently reading, Brian at Bookish and I are still buddy reading How to Pronounce Knife by Souvankham Thammavongsa. I have 2 stories left in this. I was kind of hoping that I could go ahead and finish it before I filmed this video, but I think I'm going to have to finish it tonight or in the morning and do my final check-in with Brian. So I will save my thoughts about that for next week. I'm also still buddy reading with Roz of Scallydandling with the Books, The Old Drift by Namwali Serpell. And I am over 200 pages into this. I still have about 50 more pages to go before I do my next check-in with Roz. And we have have I reached? Yeah, I just reached into the grandmother section, and I'm now into the mothers section. So basically this book follows 3 different family lines that eventually all converge with one another. And it's also a book that's about the history of Zambia as a country, and how it changes over time, socially and politically. So it's interesting. I still maintain that there are some sections of it that I find more engaging and more interesting than others, but I am still enjoying it and finding it interesting overall, so that's still going well. I'm also still making my way through the essential writings of Ralph Waldo Emerson, but progress is being made. I am now at page 541 of this 880-page tome, so yes, definitely not going to finish it this month, but progress is being made. And then the last book I'm currently reading is an audiobook, which is Carol Leonnig and Philip Rucker's I Alone Can Fix It, which is about Donald Trump's final year in office. I have about 2 or 2.5 hours left in this audiobook. I've gotten up to the insurrection of January 6th, so I kind of can't wait to hear about that. Probably listen to that after a while. So, y'all, this book has been a ride. So last week I talked about A Very Stable Genius, and I only ended up giving that book 3.5 stars. Well, unless something wildly changes, this book is probably going to get like 4 or 4.5 stars from me by the time I'm done with it. It's just been very riveting to listen to it, and I described it last week as the audio version of a car crash. It's like, I know I should look away, but I just can't, you know? So it's definitely been very enlightening. I found all the behind-the-scenes stuff really fascinating. I like that this book really heavily centers around the pandemic and the 2020 election. I mean, yeah, there's some other stuff going on occasionally as well, but it's primarily focused on the election and on the pandemic. So I find that it has a lot more focus than A Very Stable Genius. But yeah, I'm like 88% or something like that of the way through this, so surely I will finish that up, as well as the collection of short stories by Souvankham Thammavongsa by the time I do my next Friday Reads video. So that is everything that I have finished this week or I'm currently reading. If you have thoughts about any of this stuff, I would love to hear it. Please feel free to let me know that down in the comments below. Let me know what books you've been reading and enjoying this month. Thank you for watching this. I hope everyone is staying healthy and well. I hope you're doing good reading whatever you're reading, and until next time, would it kill you to call you mother?